Oh, that's where we're gonna stop. All right, that's the intro for the. This is the Archer breakdown. I always got to take those damn headphones off because they just slow me down. But yeah, this is the Archer breakdown. This is a new segment in the podcast that me and Pat over here are gonna we're gonna break down episodes of Archer. And since there's a lot of episodes of Archer, there's a lot to break down and go over, and maybe even I'll learn something because. Fucking love this show, and I wouldn't mind going over it and over it and over it and trying to break down why it's so goddamn good. But yeah, so this is July 23rd, 2017. We're going to do the Archer breakdown. Going to start off with episode 1, and honestly, let's just get into an intro real quick. This is Pat over here. Should we use first and last name?
Pat.
I mean, that's totally up to you.
Yeah, Pat McNiff on the scene. Extraordinary.
Pat, go ahead and talk. I need to hear it. Make sure you were into this.
Pat Extraordinary.
Pat Extraordinary. Okay. All right, but yeah, so we're gonna do this breakdown. The thing I was just gonna say right away was when this show first aired, it was like 2009.
Yeah.
It was like September or something like that. When this show first aired, the first episode that was actually launched was Training Day. So that's why I've always been kind of I've always misunderstood when people go, "Oh, episode 1." I'm just like, well, that was the first episode I saw. So I saw Training Day and then Mole Hunt, and then
Mole Hunt, technically the pilot.
Technically, yeah, they called that one the pilot. But I mean, when you watch both of them, which I'd have to rewatch Training Day, but I'm pretty sure they're not that significant from one another.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too early. I don't think they introduce all the characters, but hey, let's go ahead and start this cast. This is going to be kind of a long one because we're not used to ones like this where we're going to break it down. But that's our intro song, at least for this one. But I don't need to mess with that. Let's go ahead and see what it sounds like when we play the episode itself. Let's go to Archer episode 1, Mole Hunt. We don't want too much of this to show up in the background. So this first scene here, he just okay.
Basically jumps you right in, thinking he's captured somewhere. And
it does, right?
In the Libyaca or something like that.
He's all tied up. You could see that he's just fucking ripped. He's got all these battle scars and wounds, though. This dude looks like kind of a badass.
He's got his go-kart battery.
He hasn't said anything yet either. Maybe we can turn it down a little bit.
And all in all, it's just a little training for ISIS agents.
It looks like it takes place in the break room too. Is that weird?
It does. It totally is. There's the soda machine, the water machine. This guy's got a golf cart in there with some jumper cables electrocuting Archer right now. Hung on the wall.
And now they're going over this weird. Okay, we gotta pause it right there. They're going over this weird fucking picture of Mallory
spooning her
totally
old dog,
naked.
Duchess, who basically hated Archer as he was a kid.
Yeah,
she treated this dog better than him.
They go into that a little bit more as the show goes on, but like right now it's just packed with so much information as far as like there's already this past that it's obviously. Did they mention that that's his mom yet? I don't know that they went over that.
Yeah,
he knows things.
He says mother or something right now, I believe. What's going on here?
Oh yeah, he's talking about how
the dog died from eating chocolate. She wasn't
God damn it.
But that happens to be his code name, which was picked by the ISIS computer.
At random, they say. Ooh. Trying to suck a promotion out of some Russian guy's cock.
Face kicked off.
See, he pulls his foot up right there to face level and just holds it and starts talking shit like, damn, dude, this dude, like, I don't know, that's a different level of strength. Yeah. And this picture right here, again, she puts this weird smirk on her face with her eyebrows after Archer gets electrocuted. Yeah. As if it's like, this is going to be fun. It's like,
that was the fun.
It's always been misleading to me. But theme song's pretty legit. I've always liked it.
Yeah.
A nice cast over here. For the most part, like their names are super. What is this picking up on there?
I think that's too echoey.
I don't know. That could be.
Like reprojecting it.
I never really thought about it.
All right, so next scene, Archer wakes up. He's
With a dog on the bed, a pug.
passed out with an airline stewardess with
She has a paddle mark on her
paddle
ass.
mark on her bare ass. What is it, a pug on the foot of the bed? It's woken up by his cleaners. He's got to pick up his suits.
But see, I always thought that was a reference for him to get back to work, right? The cleaners, like it's also where he works, you know? I thought that's how they say, get your ass over to work, 4 or 5 cleaners, your shit's ready for a week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he does a nice little Greek pun on her. The dog gets it, obviously, Abelard. But there's a list, and it's a short list of the 2 things you're not allowed to have in Archer's.
Okay, yeah. He goes over this. I had to pause this. He goes over this list, and this is his first. This is the first time he meets. As far as TV goes, this is the first time we see Woodhouse. Yeah, we meet Woodhouse.
His servant.
It's like 70-year-old servant.
Slave's a bad name. He references a couple times.
It's basically slave, though.
Yeah, the way he treats him.
He has to prepare everything for him, and he's talking about he's mad at Woodhouse right now for letting the dog in the house.
Yeah, the night previous when he brought the flight attendant in when he was all hammered.
Yeah, because Archer was so convincing to let the dog in his own house.
Yeah,
Woodhouse just let it go.
He's got to make the point that even he can't be trusted due to that fact.
Let's go, Archer.
Insistent on an exception being made.
He goes over this song. We're gonna have to pause this because we don't know what this song is. We're gonna have to pause this, and then we're gonna have to pause that, and then. Oh, fucking Pat. Yeah, look what we just found. I knew that we already knew that song. I knew that we already knew it, but it was just like, it was a matter of having to look it up.
It's been like 20 years since we heard this fucking song.
Yeah, I don't know how popular this song is with the kids these days, but,
this is basically what Abelard was serenading to convince Woodhouse to let him in the house, even though
and
there's the no dog rule.
And going back over that, like this, I was totally confused when I first heard this dog's name for the first time, because when they first go over it, it's like it's Archer wakes up and he's hungover, but he's not fucked up anymore.
Yeah.
And they call the dog Abelard, but the way she says it totally throws me off. And then like when Archer brings the dog in fucked up, he calls him Abigard, and I was just like,
throws it off a little because he's trash,
Just like, did Adam Reed fuck this shit up, or do I have to understand that he's he's fucking smashed? But that's crazy. That song right there. But we're gonna go ahead and continue with the show breakdown.
But gets back to the list of 2 things not allowed in the penthouse of Archer. There's dogs and his mother
and his mom.
Very short list. Not.
And now he's threatening Woodhouse.
So if he finds one single dog hair, he'll rub sand in his eyes.
And then he tells him that he needs him as a servant to go buy the sand.
Very, very coarse.
And he gives him a grade. He needs to buy it. God damn it! This show just it just hits so hard at the beginning. It's crazy.
Every twist and turn.
But coarse. Woodhouse is just waiting there, waiting for his special instructions on getting sand for his eyes.
So he walks into 456, which is the cleaners, which is the bottom level of ISIS, which is the front of ISIS. You put a key to a certain washing machine, and
fucking
voila, an elevator.
Opens up and takes you to the top floor where you can just work for ISIS.
Yeah.
But this is before ISIS was all, bad, I guess.
Terroristy, but in real life. It actually doesn't stand for what it stands for in that. Which we need, I believe, try to break that down. And what does it stand for? It's the Eternal
ISIS?
Secret.
Oh, you look it up, right? Oh, yeah, okay, all right. I got this paused. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. All right, so we had to look that one up again. And what does ISIS stand for, Pat?
ISIS in the Archer term means International Secret Intelligence Services.
There we go. Not exactly
now,
the other.
In the jihadist group, it stands for Islamic State of Iraq and Syria.
Boom.
Not to be confused, I believe it was, season 5?
Well, after, 5 was Vice.
When they made Vice, so they basically phased out ISIS out of the show because of the
close affiliation, right?
Close affiliation.
We should look that in a little bit more before we talked about that. Well, we can wait for that for season 5. We just wanted to bust that out.
Make that a point.
Yeah. So right now he's talking shit to like the guy, which is so funny. It's so Archer. Like you'll see later in the episode, this is why people hate him so much. Is like this dude that the first guy he meets in the building is just like, you need to settle these unpaid tabs, and he just starts talking shit to him because
you need to start wearing dress shields.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't wear a dress.
This is not a dress.
The only thing he's got in common is both their shit smells like curry.
But what's weird is he has like an iron stain on his shirt. What's up with that? Was that supposed to be that way?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just like a spoof on, you fucked this shit up purposely.
This girl you meet about one time in the entire show.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
The receptionist?
I think you see her more than once.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think I saw her once.
So he goes to Krieger's. And
he's gone.
The first time you don't even see Krieger. He's gone somewhere else. And then he goes over to the... this is where they
control
search.
Center, basically.
Yeah, the control center is where they search up how to find bad guys. There's 2 fat-ass twins that are kind of funny.
Yeah, they're the what is it?
Don't give me
Lord of the Rings, fucking
Hobbit,
fucking professional.
Definitely professionals.
You'll get to see more of their work later on.
And look, let's go back over this one part. Watch as he walks past this group of people.
And he tells Krieger, "Hey, Krieger, you gotta smell this." That's the first thing he says.
Yeah, he's trying to show everybody his shirt.
So he goes and asks the twins and the other guy.
So look at this.
Smell something.
The first 2 guys in the background are flipping him off.
Yeah, because he's the number 1 agent because his mommy runs the whole place.
I just thought, maybe that, and I assume everybody already hates him because he's an asshole. He has bad relations with people.
Yeah.
It looked like maybe a girl was or something. There was definitely 2 guys flipping him off. Yeah. Lana Kane. The introduction to Lana Kane. She already hates Archer.
Broke up with him 6 months ago.
Oh, but they go over a relationship that they had.
Were they doing it, watching some interracial porn, But it's pretty funny. And then
he makes this reference. When she's talking about interracial porn, he's just like, God, it's like what he said. It's like you're my. What did he say? God, let's go back. Let's go back. He said it's like your brain is that tree.
You are. Too far. Go back again.
Too far. Put on some interracial porn. My brain is that tree.
So you're those little cookie elves. Referring to the
whatever those that
the elf cookies.
Yeah, elf cookies.
And he can do both, basically talk on the phone and have sex while watching porn.
He picks up the phone to talk to his mom, and he convinces this girl to have sex with him while he's on the phone.
I mean, he can do both.
What won't this bastard do?
Yeah.
And now he still has his shirt.
Iron stain.
Lana's
pissed off.
And she slaps it on the floor. You can see they have a bad relationship. Here comes Cyril Figgis, the introduction.
The masturbation champion of the universe. You'll see that later on.
Find out more about him.
He's basically the accountant of ISIS. He is the bookkeeper.
Archer's
basically a nerdy.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, so his expense account is spent on lighting Woodhouse's cigar with lit bills while pouring Dom Perignon on hookers. While there's a little Indian boy hiding behind the couch waiting at Wim with a nice fillet of salmon.
Why is the Indian boy there? That girl is going down on the other one.
And
look at
another
that.
Girl going down on the other one, like basically eagle spread. You can see Muff. Like even though it's cartoon, you can see Muff.
And Woodhouse must be having a blast right there. Like he's just got this giant thing of salmon.
And I think you can't really tell, but I think Woodhouse is completely butt naked.
He is. He must be
partying his ass off.
Woodhouse and Archer. They both appear to be completely naked.
The top hat,
possibly the Indian boy. All they're showing is his head.
Yeah.
And you see his hands and like his where his the top of his neck is in traps, and that's about it. He's hiding behind a couch, but that's where the expense account went. Cyril. Oh, and he put it all on black.
Put it all on black. Hits red 18.
And then yells, "Black ass son of a bitch!" And then this giant, overt African man just starts mean mugging him.
Who is 6'4" and black.
He offers him his drink and his hooker.
Expensive prostitute. So basically, he's pulling the classic Archer move right now, which is misdirection.
Yep, and that's the first time that he goes into that, and he just starts blabbing to the whole office that his ex and this guy are now dating. Totally throwing Cyril off track.
Yeah. And then he says about his expense score.
And they, for the first time, call out Pam for being a loudmouth. There's a lot of first times in this episode.
Yeah, this is the first time episode for sure. Pam, she is the HR director.
So she knows everything about everybody.
She knows everything about everybody, and she tells everybody everything.
Big mouth ass, and we'll find out more about her.
But Pam is gnarly.
She's also fat.
Especially in fucking season 5 Vice. It's pretty funny.
And now by the time Cyril realizes what happened, that Archer's gone, he's just like, oh shit, this guy misguided
Archer already
me.
walked away. He's
classic misdirection.
Calls
God, this show is just...
He bumps into fucking Cheryl
or
Carol or...
Which we...
Basically boils down, gets down to it, ends up being Cheryl Tunt of the Tunt Estates.
That's the original?
Which is basically a descendant of Cornelius Tunt, which built the railroad for the entire United States.
But Archer's been calling her Carol for the longest time, that she just kind of went and changed her name for whatever reason.
Even though,
making it seem like Archer has a big impact on her.
Yeah. This is pre that.
And he stood her up, and his reason is...
He was trying to save this fire from his baby.
And then he asked her if she ever saw a movie called Brian Song.
Yeah.
And then he says, I helped a guy with cancer. Now, when, honestly, we should, what are we doing? What are we doing here? It's the first time.
So basically, Archer, referencing this movie called Brian Song.
This is a story about two men. They competed for the same job. One was white, the other black. One liked to talk a lot.
He said,
So they're basically,
Shy as a 3-year-old.
It's an old 71 movie where they're
stick together.
breaking
Most
down,
stories about how they came to know each other.
two friends, one was black, one was white, civil rights time where there's still controversy, race, blah, blah. One of them ends up getting cancer in the end, so that's basically what he's referencing, since most people our age don't know about that because we were born in the 80s, not the 70s.
Most definitely, which I think is an obscure reference. I feel like, because he's just trying to get out of something. He's like, this is what I did.
Yeah. He's trying to make up an obscure reason for...
Like, I mean, you think he's just trying to throw her off because she'd never seen this before?
Could be doing a classic misdirection. It is Archer.
Well, I thought when we look up the movie Brian Song, we were going to find a movie that was literally just about someone who had cancer, and then everybody surrounded him was going to help him out.
Yeah.
This movie had a totally different plot, and the fact that this guy had cancer, I feel like comes later. But hey, I'm not going to watch it to understand this full reference, Archer.
Serious.
But okay, so he still hasn't made his way in yet.
So her name's Cheryl. He calls her Carol.
Calls her Carol. and therefore she changed her name.
So she can make it. He'll make it up to her by her buzzing him into his mom's office.
He's such an asshole.
Now his mom's in the office rubbing one out on the phone with.
At work, on the clock. They don't tell you who it's with right now.
Yeah.
Archer just walks on in. What are you doing?
Screams at him. What are you doing? Classic misdirection on Shamu.
No. He does not want to talk about this operations account with his mom.
So interesting. His mom opens up his folder right now.
And that's when you find out some information about Archer.
You know, certain height, age, things like that.
He's about 36 years old. He weighs like 185 pounds, 6'2". Yeah. Not a short guy. Totally, anyways.
Blue eyes, black hair.
Yeah. White devil. And then so his mom's going to go over what's all these transactions he's been having. All these locations that he went to, he has receipts for, but he doesn't check into any of the hotels. So they think he's just taking the money to go blow off somewhere.
To jet off to Whore Island.
And then he has to pause to think about it. Whore Island? What does that look like? Everybody take a minute.
Yeah.
Think of what Whore Island looks like. And then just try to put yourself in Archer's shoes.
Project yourself.
That'll be enough. He has to handle his account by the weekend. I assume it's Friday right now.
But he wasn't paying attention the whole time. He was picturing Whore Island. And tells him to take a shower. It smells like a whorehouse in her office.
She has her vagina rubbing
Mind
fingers
you, she
on
was
the
just
glass.
rubbing one out.
Yeah, she's
double clicking the
literally
mouse.
using the same hand she used to play with herself to drink her glass, and she's like, "It stinks in here."
And as he's walking away, casually, Archer mutters, "Okay, your own fingers."
Then he makes a reference that I barely understood.
I explained it to him. It's basically an old baseball reference, and doubles back, looks at her, and says, "Johnny Bench called." Johnny Bench, he called. He wants his mitt back. That's basically the gist of that joke.
Johnny Bench called, and he wants his mitt back.
Yeah.
This podcast is going to take forever. We're already at 20-something minutes. Let's roll. We're about a third of the way done with the episode.
Johnny Bench called.
And then he sees Homeboy, who was training him before, talking shit to him, pointing at the no foods or drinks, and then slaps his drink out of his hand.
Yeah.
They make the first reference to that's how you get ants in Archer.
Yeah.
And now the first time we see Krieger.
Krieger, he is being interviewed by a dolphin puppet that Pam is handling. She's the HR. And is trying to question him about...
There's something going on in the office.
People's lunch and food or something. Or somebody's raping it or molesting it.
Yeah, Archer comes by and he drops this reference pretty... like Krieger hasn't said a word yet. I don't think he has any lines in this episode.
Yeah.
And then so... the PETA predator. It's called what it is.
A food rapist.
So Archer just blames him, calls him food rapist. And then he has a box of donuts he's going to give to Pam.
Trying to get her to get him into the mainframe. Which flashbacks to a meeting they had where he's beating the shit out of her with her own puppet.
When he's with Lana Kane.
Yeah.
He's just beating her until she pees with the puppet.
Had to get 3 stitches because his watch got snagged on her.
And then he's like, I broke a watch. And then he calls her a hungry hippo. You are a hungry
as
hungry
she slams
hippo.
the door in his face.
Lana just comes strolling by again, still mad from everything about
Slaps
before.
all the donuts out of his hand. Because that's how you get ants.
Another reference. And now we see Cyril again in his office just chopping vegetables. He's
for dinner.
He's making shit for dinner. We just gotta keep this going. That's all I'm saying.
He does it all the time, and he gives them the better name for it, Stir Friday.
Yeah, he has no idea.
Yeah,
Cyril's just like, you want to know what we call it? Archer's like, Stir Friday, and he's just like, oh wow,
that's actually better.
It's way better. They don't tell you what it is, but obviously he just gave him a better name for it.
Yeah. And then he uses the convincing method of there's a mole, so he needs.
There's a mole in the system, and he doesn't want anybody to know that he's looking there, not even his mom.
Just in case she's the mole.
What if she's the mole?
Think about it.
And then he's talking about killing his mom. He's giving a description to Cyril about how he would kill his mom.
Neither.
Can't or won't. Neither. Yeah, that's one of the first references on that one either. That one's better. And then this part is great. We go over what Archer thinks it's going to look like to break in. Obviously ludicrous. We find out how atrocious the security system at Archer really is.
At ISIS. Yeah.
They play this dope-ass music that's totally, 70s, 80s?
Fort Knox look like...
Impenetrable After 6 looks like a garage door closes. And then on the roof, the door's
open door. Batman grapples across.
Fucking boop. Grapnels, slides down. Fucking slides off.
Slides down the railing on the stairs.
Just walking by
walks past the mainframe, doesn't know where it is.
Talks about the 3 counter measurements, which just, it just looked like these big towering kind of machines that run in there.
These things he's calling out aren't even... There's no pressure sensitive. There's no voice.
It's just a bunch of mouse traps.
There's voice activation entry. That's
Cyril. Biggest. Oh, man. Now they're introducing one of the restaurants that you see kind of frequently in the show. Some Chinese restaurant. I can't think of the name too.
I don't know.
He's there with Cheryl.
Always wrap it up in a nice foil goose.
Oh yeah,
crane, I believe.
Swan, something like that. And now he's talking to Cheryl.
Referencing about just the tip move every 3 of them in a row, or
just the tip when he went out with Cheryl, like he was giving her shit, because apparently he tried to look like he was giving her anal.
Yeah.
And then
couple times.
The 3rd time he's trying to give her some ice cream.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want it, not even just the tip.
And then it ends up, well, you didn't let me know you were lactose intolerant,
And she said she kept screaming.
Claiming she's a secretary and can't get in anyway, so he's wasting his time.
He wants her to do a ridiculous amount of things. He wants
to do cereals, to do spam.
All in order to do something complicated, too complicated for her, so she's going to be passing around what to do.
Ask if Archer's going to pay for his lunch. Just the tip. He has no cash, of course.
Also, I need cab fare.
So the last one.
And then he calls her an ugly duckling because he said she's ugly when she cries.
Yeah.
Pokes her with the fucking swan and just goes, bok, bok. God damn it. A $900 turtleneck. Ooh, I like heavy cream.
Carol.
He's talking about doing things to make her fat because he knows what girls like that care about.
Yeah.
Busts out with this fucking badass. Here's the first reference to his black turtlenecks. Here we go. Oh, huh. I guess it happens a little bit afterward, yeah. He has the slightly dark black and the slightly darker black turtlenecks.
5 of each.
And now we got Lana hanging out over at Cyril's house taking phone calls.
No,
she's just...
Hold on. Actually at Lana's house.
Yeah, okay, so she's hanging out at Lana's house. Now she just has guns, on her straps, hanging by the... in the mid, between her shoulders and her waist, her Tech 9s.
Does she technically have Tech 9s?
She has Tech 9s because if they go over that, she's not very good at aiming.
Her nickname's
Spray and Pray. Yeah, that's Lana.
Really temper.
But she has badass guns because of that. But she's just sitting at a dinner table with her accountant boyfriend.
At her own house,
Naughty Nilly. Oh shit! But yeah, she's one of the top agents over at ISIS, so she's definitely She found out about the break-in. You know, it looks like she has pistols, but when they showed later, she has an automatic gun that she puts up against Archer. And now we got Cyril taking her back to ISIS to find out what's going on.
Reason being, he's not allowed at her house without her there, even though they've been dating or fucking for 3 months, whatever you want to call it.
Because Archer, there it is. Look, she's got this text. Because Archer is a fucked up person to date.
Fucked up her relationship parameter.
And then she starts to say that he called out his mom's name one time in bed, and then Cyril just couldn't take it anymore and just hits the brakes. And they touch down anyway over at the agency.
Cyril gets a phone call, and it's, "What's your name?" And it's basically Archer on the other line going, "Hey, what's your name?"
So he can get the passcode. And then he keeps giving him shit. Keeps giving him shit so he can record it perfectly, and also to fuck with Cyril because it's Archer.
Yeah, that's what he does for a living.
So she says it better not be Pam because he made this reference earlier before where like everyone hates Pam and he's like, Pam's all right. And she's like, wow.
So he's a huge fan of cock and his name is Cyril Figgis as he opens the door.
He's entering password.
The password for everything in Archer is
just guessed.
Simply guessed. It always is. Babytown Frolics. So he's pretty deep in the red, folks.
How much money is it? Oh, he's talking about his black turtlenecks.
This is how he spent the money.
He's got
10 black turtlenecks
at $900 a pop.
$900 a pop.
And Woodhouse is holding all of them, and there's 5 and 5 that are different. Range them by color. Dark black, while another 5 is slightly darker black. Slightly darker black. So now he only has 9 of these turtlenecks.
Because he swears he is the one that patented the turtleneck
for spies, I guess.
A spy, basically, for a spy's.
Oh, and here comes what's his face.
So basically, he just, as he says, he's putting in the expense account into this guy's expense account to make sure it's him doing it. Basically,
what's guy's name again?
I don't know what this guy's name is.
He
was basically the guy in the opening scene who was torturing him.
Yep.
And ends up right now
trying to extort him.
He's trying to extort him actually because he is actually not an ISIS employee.
Yeah, this guy. So it looks like he's going to call himself the Mole.
But his real name is
Kreminsky. Is that Jewish?
So all the word about the Mole being spread around the whole episode made him do what he's doing now because he's afraid that they'll be looking for a mole, which they actually weren't.
Yeah.
It was just Archer trying to get in the mainframe the whole time.
So they're gonna find him anyway. So it seems like he's gonna leave.
Yeah.
But Archer's so just hung up on this, this name. He asks him, "Is that Jewish?" And then he's like, "It's Russian." Archer's like, "Russian Jewish?"
Yeah.
I'm the Mole, you idiot.
The last name Kamensky.
I made up the Mole.
But he made up the Mole.
But you told Pam.
Yep.
They went over that earlier, like when Cyril knew who the Mole was, or knew about a mole, and then he was like, "Yeah, Pam just called," and she had just been told. For 2.
What?
He wants to take Archer over somewhere else and hold him hostage until he's safe.
Turn the notorious Duchess into the KGB. Sexy Lana walks in.
Boom! Then Archer just elbow and then roundhouse kick to the fucking face, knocks this guy on the floor, and then starts getting into an argument with his old girlfriend with the Tech-9s.
Yeah.
It's not Crenshaw.
Crenshaw, yeah. It was
possibly a Jew.
Thoughts?
Do not wind her up.
And she is baby crazy. Hence why they broke up.
You son of a... Look at that. He pulls out his gun. I love how he pulls it out. They just pull it out and point it at each other's face like they don't give a fuck. They've done this before, and they're both ready to die.
That's how they argue.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's the standard Lana argue.
She just walks up to him. He's like, what? I got my defense right here. You want to talk? Oh, 35.
About his baby shit.
How old she? I thought we said 36 earlier. It's weird.
35-year-old umbilical cord.
My suit's on fire. Who would want to wear an on fire suit? Do you even what? God, I love the Archer's voice. Totally made me want to watch this. In the meantime,
Kremensky, Crenshaw just slipped out the door.
Because they're just engaging in stupid conversation.
Because they're yelling at each other for dumb shit.
And then we go to outside, and we got Cyril eating his stir fry, and then Mallory talking shit to him. Because he dropped off. Because, he's the accountant, and he doesn't do anything like action-packed. And then he dropped off his, ate his spy girlfriend, and now he's eating his dinner.
It's Stir Fridays, that's why he's out there. And because Lana said so.
Crenshaw comes out, gun pointed at everybody. Drops the gun. Pam's full of crap, but she has of carbohydrates. Oh, and you all should be nicer to Pam.
Misdirection right now. Basically, you bring it up. It's classic. We basically got to play it, and then we'll talk about it. It's fucking hilarious.
So, Kremensky, was that his name?
Mexican standoff. Kremensky
grabs Mallory.
And Archer grabs Lana.
And if I'm not, I thought Mexican standoff was a 3-way gunfight, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Mexican standoff is you both have a hostage, and you're going to kill your hostage if they don't do what the other one wants.
Oh, okay. Which is hilarious also because
they do mention that later on.
He doesn't care about Lana.
Yeah. Which is hilarious.
Yeah, I thought.
But basically, the whole time it's Archer doing his classic direction.
All right, so he's got the gun pointed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Archer didn't do it yet, and that's awesome. Fucking Lana just calls Cyril out. Just, why aren't you in the car? She totally just emasculates him in front of everybody.
Whispers it into Lana's ears. Don't worry, it's classic misdirection.
And so he's got Lana just like what's his name has his mom. And so
he starts mentioning killing his mom and her dying in a gutter and stuff.
Archer's all intrigued by the idea of his mom being dead. And I assume it's that, and Lana's ass pressed up against him.
Yeah.
And he gets
called out. Basically gets a chubby, a little half staff.
This dude just loses his hostage, and Archer blasts him.
Blasts the shit out of him.
And answers, "What's wrong with you?" Like, nothing, but
Mom
you got a bunch of bullets in yourself.
Shit out of him with the fucking purse.
And this is the first time that they say, "What's in that purse? Buckles?"
Yeah.
Me dying gives you an erection. His response is, "No, just half of one. The other half would have really missed you."
Yeah.
Which is definitely weird to say.
Yeah, true. Classic Archer. Johnny Bench call. Yeah, so
now it looks like
Crenshaw stole it.
Astouche. Call him that again.
Make me.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then, as this frame that we just posited right now, Lana's pointing a gun at him, and he's pointing at Lana, just going, "Mother, do you see the hostile work environment?"
Yes.
And then you
she
find
would have
out.
known if we had them all.
You find out a little bit about Mallory Archer,
who she was talking to earlier that day, which was Nikolai Jakov,
head of the KGB.
Who are you?
Question. Comrade question.
Questions.
You see the similarity of the older people, I suppose. Lana did that. Because that's how you get ants. Boom. All right, episode 1 is complete. Created by Adam Reed. Honestly, we should have went over the characters. Since we're especially doing this ship from start.
Basically, the core group of characters is.
Well, I mean, we have the cast list right here. We got John Benjamin, who does Archer.
Yeah.
And then George Coe, which he does Woodhouse, at least, for...
He did until he passed.
I don't know who Shelley Desai. Judy Greer, that's Cheryl and or Carol Tunt.
Amber Nash.
Which is Pamela Poovey. Chris Parnell, the Cyril Figgis. Adam Reed created it, and there's a character named Ray Gillette who apparently wasn't in this episode.
Yeah, he's not in until the next episode. Does probably a one-liner.
Aisha Tyler, she does Lana Kane. Jessica Walter for Mallory Archer, and they don't put Krieger on there, but he doesn't have a voice yet.
On there. Yeah, it's because Krieger actually started on. What was it? It was started working on Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. That's how he started his. Lucky Yates, and then he actually wrote what's it called? I want to say it was either him. I think it was Adam Reed though. I'm actually thinking about, but he did C-Lab 2020.
I think that might make sense if it was Adam Reed.
Based off that show, but it was only like a season.
You can. But
you can catch some of those on like old Space Ghosts.
That's one of the first things that I realized.
To the business kind of.
Yeah, from this show, I mean, I guess we could have gone in.
But Jessica Walter and the actual guy later on who plays Ron Cadillac, they're in real life actually both married too.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool little interesting
I didn't know that. But yeah, from the animation, like I used to watch C-Lab a little bit. Yeah. If you're looking for me, better check under the sea. Yeah, that's all I'm doing right now. But yeah, it had what's his name from Chips on there. Yeah, that show was pretty funny. I mean, you can see the animation is definitely similar. Yeah, and when I was looking this up, when I was
like pre-Adult Swim, like that was beginning era of that.
Well, I always even thought C-Lab 2021 was based off something else, right? It looked like it was a parody of another show.
It was kind of a parody off of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something. I guess I don't know. Or no, that wasn't even like about sea life living under the sea. I think you just made it up actually.
That would make sense. But yeah. So that was the episode, and so they didn't have Krieger in there as Lucky Yates, but he didn't do any vocals, so he's not technically there. Adam Reed didn't have any vocals, but he created the show, and I think that was everybody for this episode. So that was the Archer breakdown. I hope that was pretty good. This was the first one. It'll probably take about this long per one if that's what we continue to do, which is watch it and break it down. Maybe we could just like pause it and just have scenes if we wanted to do wanted to shorten it up a little bit because this is obviously longer than the episode itself.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
But there's as we go through, there's going to be a lot of hidden Easter eggs and whatnot. To go over and so you want to go ahead and put the top off on this one? What you got there?
All right, this is the famous Archer ringtone.
White ass mama.
Oh.
White ass mama.
Oh.
White ass daddy.
White ass daddy.
Teutonic butts. Teutonic butts. Teutonic butts. White on white butts. White on white butts.
Whoa.
Teutonic butts. Teutonic butts.
Okay. All right, that'll be that.